5.
From CBS News election headquarters in New Hampshire, good evening. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. On the eve of the first of the nation New Hampshire primary, all 8 Democratic candidates have the same primary concern: doing as well or better than expected. 7 of them want to gain momentum here against Walter Mondale. Mondale only says he will do well in New Hampshire. Gary Hart is predicting the number 2 spot for himself, and John Glenn says no matter what spot, he will stay in the running. Jesse Jackson today is trying to put a lapse of memory, and some say a lapse of taste, behind him. No matter what the candidates say, the results in the live free or die state could be do or die for at least some of the runners. And as Bob Schieffer reports tonight, beyond New Hampshire, the latest CBS News New York Times poll taken nationwide indicates Mondale is getting harder to beat.
Nationwide, Walter Mondale is running stronger than ever for the Democratic nomination. Our poll of 1,410 adults was taken the week after the Iowa caucuses, and there's no question about it. Potential Democratic voters were mighty impressed with Mondale's lopsided Iowa victory. 57% now say they want Mondale to be the party's nominee. That is a jump of 14 percentage points since mid-January. And other Democrats no longer even register in double digits. Among the others, only Gary Hart, who finished second in Iowa, clearly improved his standing nationwide. And he is still the choice of only 7% of potential Democratic voters, bunched in a pack with Jesse Jackson, John Glenn, who suffered the biggest drop, and George McGovern. The potential sampling error on those numbers is 5 points either way. Mondale's lead is the largest a non-incumbent has ever held over others in his party at this point in a campaign. What is separating him from the others? Experience is the answer most often given. 3/4 of the Democrats liked his leadership qualities. Thus far, he seems to have escaped being tagged too liberal. Only 8% of the Democrats described him that way, and just over a quarter feel he is too attached to special interests, a charge the other candidates tried to pin on him. But while he looks formidable against the other Democrats, against Ronald Reagan it is a different story. When we questioned Democratic, Republican, and Independent voters, that group favored the president by a substantial margin, 49% to 37%. Local polls show that Gary Hart is narrowing the gap with Mondale here in New Hampshire, but what our national poll suggests is that even if Hart does very well here, he still has a long way to go before he makes it a race nationwide with frontrunner Mondale. Even after Hart's second-place finish in Iowa, only 28% of the Democrats we questioned nationwide said they knew enough about Hart to have an opinion. Dan?
Thank you, Bob. For Jesse Jackson, this is not only the night before, but the night after. The night after he appeared at a New Hampshire synagogue and acknowledged blame for referring to Jews as, quote, Hymes. Jackson previously said only that he didn't remember referring to Jews with that slur. As Bob Fall reports, now that Jackson has taken the blame and apologized for what he said, the question is whether voters will forgive and forget.
And I determined that once and for all we should put all of it on the table.
He has put it there, but he has not put the issue to rest, and everywhere Jackson went today, it chased him. Why didn't you own up to the slurs sooner, one questioner asked. Said another,
now don't you think in order to be consistent that you should withdraw from this race?
If there's anyone amongst us that can throw a stone based upon perfection, the rock will stay in the floor.
I'm behind me, and I can't throw a stone.
Other voters here weren't so sure, weren't so charitable.
But the fact that it happened to begin with disturbs me a little bit.
But the day after, the widespread sentiment here seemed to be forget and forgive.
I give him an awful lot of credit for admitting this.
I just think he goofed and people should forget it.
Being black, that he must have heard quite a few comments along that line.
His aides say Jackson can go forward now that the monkey is off his back.